and shine.
Open borders with the right precautions will keep us safe and lead us to the successful rejuvenation of our tourist industry. Because when we come together as a country, we all win.
I did it for my co-workers.
I did it for my granny.
What's up? I did it for my neighbor.
I did it for my business.
Help us help Grenada.
I did it for myself and my family. Get vaccinated.
Together, we can defeat COVID-19. Get vaccinated. We've been down, but not out. It's been hard, but we've persevered together. We each have a role in Grenada's successful recovery, nourishing our families, guiding our children, caring for our communities, energizing our lives. We are strong. Together, we are Grenada.
Let's get tough on breed your larceny. It will destroy our economy. Larceny threatens our food security. Can hurt us locally, hurt us globally. To all the buyers, ask for license from all produce sellers. To all the people, 300 for police for them thieving fellas. To all the farmers, please don't steal produce from your brother. Then you sell into traffickers, hotels and street vendors. Nah, man. Let's do all we can to stop breed larceny. New vigilance, new laws, and a tough judiciary. Stop Grenada's organized business crime. It's time.
To report breed larceny, call 300.
The croton scale insect, a new threat to our agricultural production, is now creating major damage to several plants. Mango, soursop, plums, guava, avocado and crotons are among the main ones affected. Excessive sooty mold, black blight, is associated with this pest. Take action now. Cut and burn infested fruits and shoots. Do not move infested materials to other areas. Treat with horticultural oils and recommended insecticides. Request assistance from the Ministry of Agriculture. Follow all safety protocols when burning trash or applying pesticides. A message from the Ministry of Agriculture.
Experienced drivers, you've ruled the road. Now you can enjoy the rewards with Beacon's 50-plus car insurance plan. Get hassle-free sign-up, affordable payment options, and a free windscreen cover. Call us at 440-4447 or log on to beacon.co.tt and get driving with Beacon today.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Troy Gill and we are out here at Geomax Gym Grenville. And if ever you are in the Grenville area and you're looking for a gym, you can come to Geomax. Opens from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday and from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays, guys. Alright, so I'm going to be taking you through 3 simple yet effective workouts. Alright guys, and we're going to rotate it 3 sets of each. We're going to take a 20-second break in and between. All right, guys, so follow me as we go along. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 6, 12, 13, 18, 19, 20. Woo! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! All right, guys, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! Good job, guys. If you're following, remember to take your sips of water in and between sets, guys. Water is essential and water is important. Make sure that you stay hydrated. All right, so guys, second set. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 13, 18, 19, 20. Woo! Good job, guys, if you're following. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! All right, let's go. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! Good job, guys, for following. Always take your sips of water in and between sets, guys. Woo! All right, so final exercise, final 3 sets. All right, we're almost done. Let's get it going. 1, 2, 10, 11, 20. Woo! 1, 2, 3. Woo! Good job, guys. If you're following, final exercise in the final set. Let's go. 1, 2. 10. 1, 2. 9, 10. Woo! Good job, guys. If you're following, and like I said to you before, these are 3 simple yet effective exercises to get your heart pumping, get your blood flowing, get you ready to start your day. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. See you again next time. All right, guys, so that was this morning's fitness. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Hope you benefited from it. And of course, we have lots of more information coming your way, lots of great content. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to Rise and Shine. We'll be right back.
Now, there are 5 types of hepatitis. We have hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E. each of which are spread through varying means. So for instance, hepatitis A and E are spread through unsafe food hygiene. So for instance, we have always been told wash your hands before dealing or eating with food, and food that has come into contact with feces of an infected person can therefore infect you with hepatitis A and E. For the most part, hepatitis A and E the body tend to get rid of it by itself. But for some persons who may develop a bit of severe illness, they may have to present to a medical clinic or hospital for attention in rare cases. Hepatitis B, D, and C, or B, C, and D, are the ones that tend to be of more concern because of the fact that they can eventually lead to liver cancer, and if not liver cancer, but long-term damage to a person's liver. That's usually a lifelong disease, right? Lifelong issues and challenges. And as we know, people would say, I love you from the bottom of my heart, but technically without your liver, you can't live. Your liver processes all of the toxins, all of the food, all of the vitamins, minerals, everything that your body takes in, good or bad, your liver processes it and gets it out of the body or into the bloodstream. So for instance, hepatitis B and C, they are spread primarily through blood or blood products. Hepatitis B in particular tends to come with a co-infection. So persons who are infected with hepatitis B tend to have a predisposition for contracting hepatitis D. Right? Hepatitis B has a vaccine that Grenada provide given to persons at birth, and once given, it protects you. It gives you a protection for the first 6 months of their lives. It also protects you against hepatitis D, right? And once you have it, then you're fine. Now, some common symptoms are fever, joint pain, muscle pain, jaundice of the eyes and skin. We have itching, we have abdominal pain, and a series of others. One in particular is discolored urine, a dark colored urine. If you or anybody are experiencing that, and that is accompanied or coupled with some of the other symptoms I've listed, such as the joint pain and the abdominal pain. Not that you should wait till it's there, but if that's when you notice it, then you should see a healthcare practitioner as soon as possible.
With the news in detail, I am Tonya St. Louis Lawrence. Second-year students of the T.A. Marisha Community College commenced studies through online courses Tuesday and will continue until the all-clear is given for the resumption of face-to-face learning. The first-year applicants, however, will be contacted in November, at which time they will know if they met the entry requirements for the college. We have more in this report.
We start class, we would do it online. So we would not have face-to-face classes starting from the 26th of October. So that is when we are expecting to start classes for Year 1 students on October 26th.
That was Acting Registrar of T.A. Marisha Community College, Marva Bowen Neptune, speaking on how they go forward as they attempt to resume studies for the first-year students at the college. According to Neptune, following the receipt of CXC results, the students will be informed of their acceptance. This will be followed by a registration process. The acting registrar says the process will be done differently in comparison to years gone by due to COVID-19.
You would not be coming to the T.A. Marisha Community College for registration. What we are going to do, once you would have applied into a program, the advisor of the program will call you, and that is specific in the profession would have applied to the School of Arts sciences and professional studies.
Neptune also elaborated on tuition fees, whether students are being sponsored by the government or any organization.
Of course, they don't have to worry about their payment. We would have their names and we would just continue with the registration for them. So once they get accepted into the program and they would have mentioned to their advisor that this sponsor would take care of their tuition, we would go ahead and we would register the students. Now, what happens is that sometimes they don't sponsor the full amount. And when that happens, they have to take care of the difference.
Dean of Continued Education, Lauren Alexander, says some adjustments have been made to the program to facilitate the changes made due to COVID-19.
What we did is that we have looked at our curriculum. We have looked at the different units that make up the program. And we have identified those that we can offer in semester one while we are closed down, that are more theory in nature. Because of course, even though if you're teaching plumbing, you have some theoretical knowledge that the student needs. And so we are offering those first with the hope that by the time we get to the practical, things will ease up, the students will be vaccinated, and we can go back on campus face-to-face.
For MTV News, Rachel Bain.
Education Minister Emmeline Pearce spoke of some of the challenges faced during online learning for both the students and the teachers. In light of these challenges, vaccination, according to the Education Minister, plays a critical role in the return of normal school operations. Nikita Hostin has that story.
A child where the mother is out all day, or a child where the mother just can't be bothered about this education thing, are we going to continue the online for that child forever? What if a new variant comes next week? What's going to happen to the education of that child? What kind of citizen would that child end up being? What kind of contribution will that child make to society? Right. And so this is why it is extremely urgent that a final decision on the rollout of the reopening of school be taken and announced, and we start to look seriously at how we are going to do so.
Face-to-face learning in Grenada was forced to cease because of the COVID-19 pandemic. To keep teachers and students safe, the Ministry of Education transferred in-person classes to online mode. The sudden shift to online learning has turned education on its head, and in many cases, it's the students who are having the toughest time. Recognizing the issues associated with the change, Minister of Education Emmeline Pearce spoke about the challenges faced during online teaching and learning.
Now, let us just accept the fact that every school does not have the exact same level of management and the quality of leadership. It's not across the board. And online teaching and learning is very much connected to management, leadership, organization. Systems become extremely important, right? So number one, if you have a situation where school doesn't get it right, what happens? Who is affected? That's the first question.
The Education Minister highlighted data used to monitor teachers during online teaching.
Right now, unfortunately, data collected is representing about 40%. About 40% of our teaching population. That we're not going to be conclusive, because what we are going to do as a first response is to engage principals this week. Is there a reason why data is not in? Is it that the data is available but not submitted, right? Okay. So I'm not drawing any conclusion from that.
According to the minister, government is partnering with telecommunications companies in supporting vulnerable students to enhance the remote learning experience. Nikita Hostin, MTV News.
The designation of one of the buildings on the Grandans campus of St. George's University to be used as a prison has caught the attention of many concerned citizens. The building has been identified to house individuals who have been remanded to Her Majesty's prison but may be infected with COVID. Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin explained that this is simply a backup facility should the space at the prison become filled.
Additionally, the fact is Her Majesty's Prison has made adjustments in-house in its own facility to currently isolate a limited number of such persons. Therefore, this mechanism is a redundancy measure in case Her Majesty's Prison isolation facility becomes filled. This clearly shows that the said facility may never be used. I am confident that once our current rate of community spread is brought under control and the positivity rate is reduced, that this measure will be rescinded.
The Commissioner of Police said this is only a precautionary plan which prioritizes the safety of prisoners and officers.
The predominant purpose of this measure is to reduce the risk of sending positive cases into our prisons that can potentially infect the population.
He made it clear that the building is currently unoccupied and there are no immediate plans to have any inmates there. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell announced that in an attempt to return to some form of normalcy, beauticians will be allowed to open their doors, but must do so with some restrictions. Some hairdressers, while happy to resume operations, share mixed reactions as it relates to vaccination being one of the requirements to do business. Rachel Bain reports.
It is now a requirement for hairdressers and barbers to be vaccinated before resuming operations following 1 month of closure. The Prime Minister made the announcement on Tuesday during his national address, which focused on COVID-19 measures. MTV spoke to hairdressers about the recent announcement. They say they are elated to be able to ply their trade once again.
I feel really good to know that the government has lifted the restrictions, given us the privileges to work again. The past month was a very trying month, being a hairdresser with kids, with bills. It was really a testing time, mentally, financially, so I'm really happy for the opportunity to commence work again.
Marlene Evans, a hairdresser for 19 years, says the 1 month lockdown was very challenging for her financially and mentally.
I found myself, listening to a lot of gospel, listening to a lot of inspirational speeches, just equipping us on how to take care of ourselves during this period with mental health, And I did a lot of that, and that has brought me through. Of course, family and friends have been very supportive during that period also.
She says she is fully vaccinated, however, is against forced vaccination, which she believes is a route the Prime Minister is taking.
Personally, I took the vaccine for personal reasons, to protect my family, to protect my clients. I know there are persons who, for spiritual or religious beliefs, do not want to be vaccinated for personal or health reasons, and I think these things should be respected. Vaccines should not be forced on anyone, and the government asking that persons be vaccinated in order to take care of their families and pay bills, and I'm speaking specifically to us hairdressers and barbers, I think it's very unfair. And the government needs to revisit that, in my opinion.
Annette Welch Mackenzie, owner of Annette's Football, who operates in St. John, shares similar sentiments to that of Evans.
I am fully vaccinated. I took my vaccination, the AstraZeneca, the 10th of the 3rd month of this year. So I do not have a problem with the vaccine. My concern is it should not be mandatory for operators in my industry. I think it should be a choice. So implementing that persons should be vaccinated to operate, I think that is defeating the purpose.
For MTV News, Rachel Bain.
Before we take a break, a bit of information from the U.S. Embassy. The U.S. Embassy in Barbados has paused routine non-immigrant visa services effective Tuesday, October 12th due to COVID-19 local conditions. While the embassy continues to provide emergency and mission-critical non-immigrant visa services, these appointments are extremely limited. Routine visa services will resume as soon as possible, but the embassy is unable to provide a specific date at this time. If the U.S. Embassy is unable to honor an appointment, applicants will receive an email providing instructions on how to reschedule their appointment for a later date. If an applicant has an urgent matter and needs to travel immediately, guidance is provided on the embassy's website. The shortage of vaccines is one of the challenges faced by the government, as getting to a point of herd immunity seems to be taking longer than anticipated. But health officials say they are hoping to receive more vaccines soon. Grenada is still a long way from achieving herd immunity, but the vaccination numbers appears to be slowly increasing since the onset of the country's first COVID wave. Donella Hostain has more.
With the vaccine uptake in Grenada slowly increasing over the past few weeks and the first shipment of the Pfizer-BioNTech almost used up, authorities have confirmed that a new batch of Pfizer will be coming on the island soon. However, according to Minister for Health Nicholas Steele, they are uncertain when this second shipment of Pfizer will arrive, but they are hoping that it will be before the year ends. He says it is estimated that the current batch of Pfizer will be used up by the end of October.
It's not finished yet, but at our current rate, we probably will use up all by October, end of October.
The minister warns that people should not wait to take the available vaccines, as there is no guarantee exactly when this new batch will arrive. It was noted that there is an island-wide shortage of AstraZeneca vaccines. Therefore, individuals can either opt to wait for the next shipment, which according to Minister Steele may be by the end of next week, or take the Pfizer as their second shot. This, according to some medical practitioners, is safe. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, during a recent address, shared some of the latest figures as it relates to vaccination, noting that despite the increase in numbers, the country still has a long way to go.
Past few weeks, we have noticed our vaccination numbers have continued to improve, with the latest figures showing that just under 25,000 people are fully vaccinated. In addition, more than 10,000 people are partially vaccinated, meaning they have received the first dose of the two-dose regimen. This is a welcome improvement in the number of persons opting for vaccination, but we are still a long way from where we need to be.
Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hostin.
CEO of the Grenada Hotel and Tourism Authority, Arlene Friday, commends members of the association and the tourism sector for the significant role they played in ensuring that the logistics and operations ran smoothly over the past few weeks as Grenada's fight against COVID continues. Here once again is Donella Hostin.
For the past 4 weeks, Grenada and its dependencies have been under a lockdown period, inclusive of no movement weekends. Throughout this time, there have been many unseen and unrecognized groups and individuals who have contributed to the behind-the-scenes operations. According to the CEO of the Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association, Arlene Friday, the GHTA and some of its partners played an important role in the vaccination drive. She says they are grateful and she extends a heartfelt thank you to those who contributed.
Major thank you to all of the volunteers who have tirelessly and selflessly contributed to the entire mobile vaccination drive and initiative. So many people from all sectors, including tourism, were heavily involved throughout this period.
Friday noted that even while the country was closed and many of the hotels were unable to open their doors, they provided meals for those at different sites.
Hotels that were closed opened for many of us to provide food, to provide resources, to provide even personnel to go out in the front lines, to be out there vaccinating and testing the community.
The CEO also commended other groups within the sector who came out and gave their time and services.
We had truck drivers, van drivers, tour operators who currently don't have business that were out there transporting medical waste and medical supplies. And there are countless stories of people who have who committed themselves to just going out there and trying to get Grenada back.
Friday also took the opportunity to say a special thank you to all the frontline workers who have been working tirelessly. Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hostin.
Financial Information Month 2021 is being recognized under the theme Financial Empowerment Through Education. The commemoration will focus on innovation in the face of financial adversity, response, recovery, and rise. Nikita Hostain has that story.
Financial Information Month is a regional financial, economic, business and business education campaign executed in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union since 2002. It is observed through the collaborative efforts of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB member governments, financial and academic institutions, the media, other private and public sector institutions, and community-based groups. Minister for Finance, Economic Development and Physical Development, Gregory Bowen, elaborated on the observance of the month.
This month forms part of an ECCU financial and economic education program coordinated by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. The program incorporates a series of initiatives designed to support the attainment of the goal of a financially developed and vibrant ECCU region that fosters strong and sustainable economic growth and the improved well-being of the citizenry.
According to Bowen, the pandemic has taught us many lessons, and one of those is that in this new era, he says we must equip ourselves for the digital way of life.
The COVID-19 pandemic has hastened the transition to a digital society. Some of us are relying almost exclusively on digital tools to socialize, work, and access a myriad of required services to continue with our everyday lives. Discussions around this topic will address online banking and payments, using existing tools such as cell phones to make life easier, taking advantage of virtual platforms for work, conducting business, education, job search.
The minister highlighted some of the activities for this year's financial month.
Activities planned for Grenada during this month are weekly radio discussions addressing Financial Information Month 2021 sub-theme and areas of focus, virtual small business workshop scheduled for 21st October 2021, and wearing a Financial Information Month shirt every Friday in October.
Nikita Hostin, MTV News.
It's a pleasant good morning to you. That was the top stories making the news last evening. It is a wonderful Thursday morning. It is October the 7th, of course, and we're here with you on Rise and Shine, just like we normally do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, right here. Welcoming you to the family. Hope you continue to keep safe and all of the good stuff that happens. Those of you on Facebook, we say good morning to you. If you're listening to us on Magic FM, we also say good morning. And those of you on our YouTube platform, well, a hearty good morning to you, those of you joining us. It is always a pleasure to have you. I'm your host, Kishon Thomas, filling in for Oslin Crosby. Yeah, hopefully next week you get to see her again. You know, sometimes you have to take a little breather. Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to cross over to the Met Office to get a look at the public forecast for today. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you, Kishan, and good morning to all listeners and viewers of MTV. Let's take a look at the weather for today, Thursday, the 7th day of October 2021. At Point Charlene, it is fair. A gentle breeze is from the east-northeast at 6 miles per hour. The barometric pressure is 10.1 millibar, which is below normal and rising. The present temperature 27.8 degrees Celsius, relative humidity 84%. Yesterday's maximum temperature was 32.7 degrees Celsius and the minimum last night 25.3 degrees Celsius. Over the past 24 hours, we had 7.5 millimeters of rain. The total for the month so far, 46 millimeters. Now for the public forecast for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique Valley for today and tonight. The weather is expected to be partly cloudy, hazy, and breezy with few brief to widely scattered showers, increasing in cloudiness during the evening with some brief to scattered showers, which may be heavy at times and accompanied by lightning and thunder. The public should take note here that minor flooding is possible. Today's maximum temperature should reach 32 degrees Celsius. Wind should be east-northeasterly to easterly at 14 to 24 miles per hour. Sea should be moderate to rough with waves 5 to 7 feet today and 6 to 8 feet tonight. The public should also take note that a marine advisory is in effect. Tide is currently falling with below at 1:55 p.m. and high at 7:30 p.m. Sunset today 5:55. Sunrise tomorrow 5:57. To repeat the forecast, the weather is expected to be partly cloudy, hazy, and breezy with few brief to widely scattered showers, increasing in cloudiness during the evening with some brief to scattered showers, which may be heavy at times and accompanied by lightning and thunder. The public should take note here that minor flooding is possible. From the Morris Bishop International Airport, Jason Robertson reporting.
All right, thank you very much, Jason. So you heard the public forecast for today. So if you're venturing out, you want to make sure that you have all your rain gears, and if you're traversing on the nation's roads, you be exceedingly careful. All right, remember this is Rise and Shine. We're actually live here on MTV and also on Magic FM and on our social media platforms. We do hope that you're following the protocols. Of course, the new restrictions is now in effect. Right, so those of you who needed to go to your retail stores and your salons and barber shops and so on and so forth, you're free to do so, ensuring that you follow all the protocols that's been put in place. And those of you looking to go out and dine at the restaurants, well, you know you have to be fully vaccinated if you want to sit and dine. And if you're not vaccinated, of course, you'll have to do your takeaways, of course. So yes, so please be guided accordingly. And remember, all the shops and restaurants and so on will be closed at 5. So don't go venturing out after 5 looking for places to be open, because you have to give the staff and so on enough time to get at home before the 7 p.m. curfew. What we're going to do is take a quick break. We have a good lineup for you this morning. We're going to be speaking about vaccination and all that's happening on the weekend in terms of the vaccination and testing that's been coordinating on the weekends. And of course, we're going to be speaking to the Public Workers Union as it relates to the new restrictions and so on and so forth. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back.
It's your summer everything loan from the Communal. Borrow up to $10,000 for all your needs. School supplies, staycation, home renovations, appliances or furniture. You can have it all with a summer everything loan. With competitive interest rates and same-day approvals, you can't beat this loan special. Not a member? Join today to get onto this exciting offer. It's your summer everything loan from the Communal. Apply today and take advantage of this exciting offer. Visit the nearest Communal branch or call us at 440-1755 for more information. Lending terms and conditions apply.
At Bailey's Funeral Home, we understand the pain and grief you experience when you suffer the loss of a loved one. For years, we have helped thousands of families get through that difficult time by providing professional funeral services to meet their unique needs. Whether your choice is cremation or burial, call us or come into our new facility on the Carenage and meet with our arrangers in a spacious and comfortable environment. Choose from a wide variety of quality coffins and caskets at prices from as low as $1,900. At Bailey's Funeral Home, we believe that no one should feel overwhelmed or anxious about funeral expenses. So when it's time to plan a funeral, join a burial society, or make pre-arrangements when service and costs matter, call Bailey's Funeral Home at 440-2558 or visit us at baileysfuneralhome.org. Bailey's Funeral Home, still providing the perfect tribute any family can afford.
Everybody get ready, because on Sunday, October 3rd from 6 p.m., the 29th edition of Waggity Virtual Bingo is on. And this time you can win a whopping $10,000 US. And And it's only $10 per ticket. What are you waiting for? Invite a friend. Tell them all about the fun and excitement when you play Waggity Virtual Bingo. Get your tickets from gotofed.com or numerous box offices island-wide in Grenada. All overseas players. Tickets are only available at gotofed.com. Sunday, October 3rd. Join the fun online. Play Waggity Virtual Bingo. Remember,
it's the new way to play bingo.
Let's get tough on breeder larceny. It will destroy our economy. Larceny threatens our food security. Can hurt us locally, hurt us globally. To all the buyers, ask for license from all produce sellers. To all the people, 300 for police for them thieving fellas. To all the farmers, please don't steal produce from your brother. Then you sell it to traffickers, hotels and street vendors. Nah, man. Let's do all we can to stop breeder larceny. New vigilance, new laws, and a tough judiciary. Stop Grenada's organized business crime. It's time.
To report breeder larceny, call 300.
Rise and shine.
All right, welcome back. You're watching Rise and Shine. If you're just joining us, a pleasant good morning to you, and thank you for tuning in. Yeah, we're getting ready to start chatting with our first guest, but while we wait, just going to share a bit of information with you, and then we take a music video just to keep you entertained a little bit, you know? Don't want you to say that we are a little bit bored this morning, but we want to keep you up and about. So, the daily dashboard issued as of yesterday, of course, the 6th of October. The new confirmed cases is 47, and the active cases is now down to 650. The new recoveries was 92, and new deaths were 2, and the number of persons currently hospitalized is 44. The number of tests that was conducted yesterday was 370, and the fully vaccinated population in terms of the 2 doses is 26,003, and the total number of persons receiving their first dose is 9,572. So these were the statistics issued by the Ministry of Health COVID-19 dashboard dated the 6th of October. So 47 new cases, 2 new deaths, and 92 new recoveries, and the total number of active cases is 650. We're now going to cross over to a music video for this morning to keep you a little bit entertained.
If you give a little more than you take, if you try to fix more than you break, if you're the kind who takes the time to help a stranger in the rain, there's a place for people like you. If you stand up for those down on their knees, and lend a voice to those who cannot speak, if you shine a little light, give sight to the ones who've lost their way, there's a place for people like you. I've heard of better streets made of gold, and when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days down here are through, there's There's a place up there for people like you. If you walk around with your heart on your sleeve, and if you try to be the change you wanna see, if you lay down your life for love so someone could be saved, there's a place for people like you. I've heard of that the streets are made of gold, and when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when you taste down there through, there's a place up there for people like you. 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 I've heard of that the streets are made of gold, and when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days down here are through, there's a place up there for people like you. I know you out there, keep doing what you do, 'cause there's a place up there for people like you. There's a place up there for people like you.
All right, so that was your music video pick for this morning. Very inspirational indeed. I think you should be up and about and ready to start your day, whatever you're going to do. We have our first guest with us this morning, Victor Philip it is, and we're going to be speaking vaccination and testing, something that you should be quite accustomed to in the couple days of our lockdown or no movement weekends. There have been a series of testing and vaccination. And of course, it's going to continue. So good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you and good morning to all the listeners. Okay.
All right, so we want to talk vaccination and testing on the weekends, events that is being coordinated and I'm sure has been bearing fruits. Tell us what can be expected this coming weekend and the weekends ahead.
Okay, well, I'm specifically talking about Patrick's side, the St. Patrick's West. We'll be having areas accommodation take place in school and also at Montreach, at the Montreach preschool. What is expected is that there will be testing as well as vaccination in doing, as well as for people who are unable to make it to the site, there will be a mobile team. So individuals can call in, but when they come, the names of those individuals, the mobile team will go out houses and execute the.
Okay, and one of the critical factors of this is being able to get the community's involvement. How important is that?
That's a hard stone, but it's very, very important. What we realize is that there is information of the government and the Ministry of Health, but again, as you say, with the offset of the media in terms of Facebook, other people putting things out, it's creating a serious problem, giving people a doubt. So that's where it's comes down to individuals and the approach that you use. We have find it real nice. People have questions and they want answers. they have like they're doubting whether it's to take it or not, if it's good or not, and they look up to individuals from like me and other people within the community, to give them the advice. And so therefore we have to make sure that we try and explain it in a way so that they can get it. Also, what you're finding out is that even if we have the main center, what is becoming a trend is that people still are hesitant to come to the main centers. And when you go out with the mobile team to give someone to administer to someone who is unable to make it, you'll find right around there, the people in the houses around there will come and ask them to have it. And the mobile team is doing a wonderful job at accepting them and doing it. And sometimes we're getting more numbers on the outside than actually at the main center. So it's very important that the community, we go out to the communities because, again, we have to understand that it's economic times now. Some people, when they have to go to the main areas that in the first thing, they have to find monies and transportation to bring them there. And they don't have that. So going out into the community, providing the availability or access to people to come right there and then, and if they little shame or whatever they have, they can do it, like in secret almost. So I think it's very important that.
Okay, and what is the word of caution? We know the Prime Minister in his recent address indicated that the country should not be resting easy because of the reduction in the number of active cases. And now that people can move on the weekend, of course, there's probably going to be an influx of people using the opportunity. What is the word of caution as people use the time to come out to get vaccinated or tested, considering the restrictions that is being in place?
You have to be cautious about everything. Like everything else, you cannot take granted anything, and you cannot be too complacent. If we understand the science as it's told by the experts, even as I said, even if you're vaccinated, you can still catch it. But by being vaccinated, you are safe. It helps you aid you. You may not end up to hospitals, whatever. But importantly, the virus would not be able to transform. It wouldn't be able to mutate. But for individuals who have not taken the vaccine and have the COVID-19, what you do is that you provide a platform for the virus to mutate. And when viruses mutate, as we call them Delta and the other types, it's because now the actual vaccine that you have may not be able to handle it. So then you're creating a problem, a serious problem, and having more access to other people outside and catching the virus. So we have to be very mindful that and not be complacent, and to make sure that we take the vaccination to aid, in the development. We continue to bring back to as normal as possible. So it's important that we come on board and we take the vaccination. We want to see us good.
What is the advice that you would give to persons who probably they're at home and maybe having symptoms, whether it's mild or not, and may want to use the opportunity to come out and get tested? I'm sure you'll say that would not be allowed. You stay at home and isolate. What is the advice that is given to persons who probably on the weekend might be coming down with symptoms of the virus?
Okay, well, people like those, you can't. It's advised that you call the hospital. Some people are saying that it's difficult, but you could also call the health centers. Right. Once information has reached the team, well, when the vaccination, as I said, there will be a mobile team, and they're specifically to handle situations like that. So all you need to do is to try to get in touch with the vaccination team or with the health center or through the hotline, and they would make the necessary arrangement for individuals to come to you. However, we always have worst case scenario. You're not getting through whatever it is, but you have you're mobile in terms of you have the transportation. You can get somebody to bring you there. We advise you to follow the protocols, and the other person who will be driving if you're not driving yourself, and to come there and stay there and try to get someone to come to you and take the information, and they will deal with you. Also at the site, I must state that there is preparation done, arrangement done, when you come, there is 2 lines. So the people who are, for instance, are doing testing, right? We don't allow everyone to mingle. They ask and they separate 2 lines so that those who want to test, but who want to test and have symptoms, so they will separate them and they will deal with them separately. So that is also what is out there, how they can come and get vaccine or tested.
And I know one of the questions have been frequently asked is, during these on these testing sites, how is a positive case treated? Are they allowed to go and find your way at home, or they're given specific instructions? How are they actually treated when they're identified as being a positive in these pop-up clinics?
Well, the positive cases are from, in my experience, in the last 2 weekends. So they are, as I said, they are told and explain what needs to be done. They're told to go home and just go straight home and isolate themselves. Of course, as we said, we do not have the resources to probably take them personally and stuff like that. But what is in it, everyone has to come on board, and we have to make sure that we take personal responsibilities. And so therefore, you would go home. Also, what would happen is that they will take information of people in the household, because they will make the arrangement to also come and test those people. Because of course, if you come and positive, that means that you mingle with the people at home. So they would have to make sure that these people are tested and to give them direction going forward. So this is what would be taking place. But again, it depends on the situation at present. And in one instance, there's a gentleman that came to take come to test. He had some symptoms and he fell right there. And they looked after him and take care of him. And then they make arrangement to take him to the hospital. All that will be done by the experts, doctors.
Okay, with these pop-up clinics and so on doing vaccination and testing, but probably behind the scenes there's a lot of logistics and challenges that you have to face. You care to outline some of those, and I know probably transportation for people who live in certain areas to come to the clinics. Is there anything that we'll see be rolling out, probably getting support from the bus association to assist in transporting people to the sites based on where they live?
Yeah, well, I could only talk about what's in my area. In my area, we didn't have that. But what we find having out, we have people, well, you get a bus when a tourist come. It's individuals who are assisting, the people within the villages or in their area is in the situation and they assist to bring them there. So we're having people reaching out and assisting that line. Also, if we're aware of it, for instance, I am there, and a few of us, we have transportation, and this information has come to us, and the person's probably best to get them there. For instance, I went and assist a blind person. We would ourselves volunteer and go and pick these people up and to the sites.
Of course, we can't forget the elderly. The elderly, I'm sure people or persons probably looking and saying, well, how do you treat the elderly? What can I do if there's an elder person in my community and probably want to guide them or show them the way? What sort of mechanisms, apart from the mobile unit, what other mechanisms in place to facilitate those persons?
And vaccination?
And vaccination. Both.
Okay. Oh yeah, well, what can be done? Also, they have set up within the health center, like the Sutter's Health Center, for instance, that you can call there, and there is a team that works during the week, at the afternoon time mainly, to go out to those people with the weights and take names, and they would go out with a bus with the staff and go from home to home and administer to those individuals who have called in and give the names and stuff like that. So there is this arrangement within the medical centers, within the parishes, that you can call in there, give the names, and they will come out and take care of.
The average person might want to know why's the focus on the weekends, or there seems to be a lot of focus on the weekends opposed to probably during the week? Is there a reason for the weekend focus opposed to a heavy during the week focus?
Well, reason for that, and it's just obvious. During the week, people go to work. People have to go to work, and we have to earn money. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid. So probably don't have the time to get into all of it's happening in the centers, but you don't have the time to get there. And so because you could encounter long lines, your employer mightn't be happy. So by extending it to the weekends, you give the opportunity for individuals who are unable to make it go during the week. Again, we have to remember that all workforce are sorted out in Grenada. Most people in the countryside do not live. Do not work in the countryside. So a lot of them work in town in St. George's. So it gives them a very unfair advantage to actually take chance to go to the health centers. So, but when you have the weekend, give more opportunity for individuals. And again, using both the Saturday and Sunday also accommodate the people of the different religious sects, so that those who is going to the Seventh-day Adventists can go on a Sunday and the others can use both days. So this is one of the reasons that weekend has been there and has been doing tremendously good.
So if you care, you could just recap where the clinics are going to take place on the weekend and the times that it's going to start.
Okay, so for this weekend and St. Patrick's, we have at Hermitage, and it's starting from 10 to 12:30, and then in Montreach from 2:30 to. But mind you, the team normally, as long as there is people coming, they will deal with you. So all of this is set times, but they will make a necessary accommodation to see individuals.
Okay, Mr. Philip, we want to thank you so much for taking the time out to share this very vital set of information with us, and we wish you and your team all the best on the weekend.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. That was Victor Philip, of course, coordinating the weekend vaccination and testing that is taking place across the island. So if you're in your various communities, you want to go out and ensure that you get yourself tested and vaccinated against the coronavirus. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be speaking with the Public Relations Officer of the Public Workers Union, Daisy Hazard. When we come back, we're taking a break. We'll be back.
It's your summer everything loan from the Communal. Borrow up to $10,000 for all your needs. School supplies, staycation, home renovations, appliances or furniture. You can have it all with a summer everything loan. With competitive interest rates and same-day approvals, you can't beat this loan special. Not a member? Join today to get onto this exciting offer. It's your summer everything loan from the Communal. Apply today and take advantage of this exciting offer. Visit the nearest Communal branch or call us at 440-1755 for more information. Lending terms and conditions apply.
Let's get tough on breed larceny. It will destroy our economy. Larceny threatens our food security. Can hurt us locally, hurt us globally. To all the buyers, ask for license from all produce sellers. To all the people, 300 for police for them thieving fellas. To all the farmers, please don't steal produce from your brother. Then you're selling to traffickers, hotels and street vendors. Nah, man. Let's do all we can to stop breed larceny. New vigilance, new laws, and a tough judiciary. Stop Grenada's organized business crime. It's time.
To report breed larceny, call 300.
Need a quick, convenient way to pay your bills and avoid lines? Use the online banking feature from Republic Bank, First Caribbean, or Co-op Bank. Contact them today to set up your online banking and enjoy 24-hour convenience to make your bill payments. Stay safe. Grenlec, we are united even when we are apart.
Despite the situation we now face, one thing is for certain. we will get through this together. As much as we are a part of your community, you are a part of who we are. Let's take care of each other during this time, as we always do. And soon, we know that with the dawn of that new day, all of this will be over, and our land will once again be healed. In the meantime, stay safe. Know that we're here for you. Courts, bringing value home.
Tick, tock, toe. I win!
Feel like a big kid again when you play NLA's new scratch game, Tic-Tac-Toe. It's instant cash on the go. Reveal 3 X's or 3 O's in the same row, column, or diagonally, and win the prizes shown, or as much as $5,000. Win easy with Scratch. Must be 18 or older to play. Tic-Tac-Toe, please.
Give me a tic-tac-toe, please.
Tic-Tac-Toe, please.
The croton scale insect, a new threat to our agricultural production, is now creating major damage to several plants. Mango, soursop, plums, guava, avocado, and crotons are among the main ones affected. Excessive sooty mold, black blight, is associated with this pest. Take action now. Cut and burn infested fruits and shoots. Do not move infested materials to other areas. Treat with horticultural oils and recommended insecticides. Request assistance from the Ministry of Agriculture. Follow all safety protocols when burning trash or applying pesticides. A message from the Ministry of Agriculture.
Rise and shine.
All right, welcome back. You're watching Rise and Shine. Of course, we're live on Magic FM, MTV, and all our social media platforms. In case you're just joining us, of course, you missed just a little bit. You know, we were speaking to Victor Philip as it relates to vaccination and the testing pop-up clinics that is going to be taking place or being coordinated on the weekend, and how you can go out and become part of the activities. Okay, so right now we have the Public Relations Officer of the Public Workers Union, Daisy Hazard, with us this morning. Of course, there's new restrictions and so on and so forth, and you know the public workers also play a very pivotal role in this particular time. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Kishan, and how are you?
I am excellent, and you?
I'm wonderful as well, feeling blessed, giving thanks for this new day. And I just want to say good morning to all your listeners and viewers across the Tri-Island State and wherever they may be in this world listening in.
All right, excellent. So we know new restrictions are now being put in place, and we can't forget our public workers. So basically bring us up to speed with what's happening at the Public Workers Union as it relates to the public workers and concerns, if any, as it relates to the new restrictions that is currently being active.
I think, Kishan, we are all still trying to get used to the easing of things, if I may call it that, with the new restrictions. It was only announced this week, and so we are all just trying to come to terms with a little bit more, a little bit more ease in terms of how we can go about our daily lives. At the same time, however, we look at measures that are introduced where perhaps only some vaccinated persons can work, where perhaps only some vaccinated persons can take advantage of services and so in the society. And while that concerns the public service, because we live and work and our members are in this society as well, we would want to believe that there would be other sectors and groups in the society that would have a lot to say about that. But in terms of our own workers, we know at this time, basically all workers are back out to work. But there is no one size fit all in dealing with the circumstances that we are confronted with day to day. So in as much as there is a move by the state, by the government, to sort of normalize things within the society, we all know that there is no normal, or it's a new kind of a normal. between August to September, we saw the number of a tremendous amount of deaths within our society and infection. And so across the public service, persons are returning fully back to work, but we are still mindful of the policies and so exposed by the Office of the Cabinet Secretary, which gives managers and supervisors the latitude to put measures in place as it relates to the persons who are directly under their care and supervision. So it is not expected that all workers will be back out to work 100% in full force, because there are different circumstances that would attend. We still have the issue in the botanical gardens where the complex is a sick building for the most part. You have 6-7 floors there, and there are so many floors, at least about 3-4 floors and more areas than that where the AC just does not work. And it really begs the question, because we have been dealing with COVID for almost 2 years now, 19 months, 20 months, why do workers still have to face going into a building where the air quality is poor in the first place? And now you have a disease that is so infectious, so contagious, that is transmitted person to person through the air. And so how can workers really be expected to comfortably and easily walk into workspaces where the air quality is poor, it's hot, it's stifling, it's moldy, and you are mindful that, you know, there are persons around you who are recovering from COVID. There are persons around you who have family members who have died from COVID. And so in those circumstances, we do not expect all workers to be out every day, 8 to 4. And the onus would be on supervisors to make those little arrangements. Now, the reports that we are getting is that in many, you know, it all comes back to individual persons, Kishan, and their own respect for and how they care about the persons who are under their supervision. So you have cases where persons would tell you, there are persons who will be reporting for work 4 days a week. Some persons may still be doing a blend, working remotely, working in the office. And you have cases where supervisors are demanding that every single person comes to work, citing the fact that the workspace is available. But let's take a typical example where there is one worker where we know, for instance, had COVID about 6 weeks ago. And just, I think it was yesterday or the day before, she fell ill again because she's never totally recovered and her oxygen levels were low. But she was being demanded to be at work every day because everybody is supposed to be at work. And so that is not necessarily on, you know, a minister of government, so it goes back to supervisors and managers. And so we are appealing to you. You have to be humane. You have to be conscientious. You have to know your workers. You have to know what is happening to them. I walked into one department yesterday, and in that one department, there was someone who was off because their grandmother had just died from COVID. There was someone who was also off because they were having a funeral on that day. In that same department, there was a worker who also recovering from COVID, but not quite well, or has recovered, but still not quite well. I've seen other persons who said, yes, I've beat COVID and I'm feeling fine now. So it's case by case, because COVID does not affect everybody in the same way, and every workspace and every work situation is not the same, it's not equal. So basically, that's one of the issues we are confronting now. And, you know, it's early. Prime Minister just did his address on Tuesday. It's Thursday today. So these situations are emerging, and we will be bringing them to the attention of, you know, CABSEC, supervisors, managers, PSs, where we have to. Some persons may be hearing this for the first time this morning because it's only within the last 2 days that we've been able to collect that sort of information. Should I go on to our nurses or healthcare workers at this point, or would you like to ask?
You can go ahead. I think after you deal with the nurses, one of my questions would be, considering the conditions now, is that probably one of the fuel that could be used to say, hey, it's either vaccination or you work from home? But I guess after you give the compilation with the reports from the nurses, you probably give a broader scope as to what probably the union is proposing.
Answer that question here, because it's a very, very important question, and I think it's something that's probably knocking about on most people's minds. So we have seen what has been persisting throughout the region, the latest case being Antigua, where some very stringent measures have been taken And, you have a lot of pronouncements by the leader of that country, sometimes which really, you're wondering what is guiding these thought processes in terms of the way you're going to speak to your countrymen and workers, because your workers are valuable. And even as we seek to protect the entire country and to curb this Delta variant, we still cannot lose our humanity. We still cannot use that human touch and approach in dealing with people. But as we see, the call for persons who are vaccinated to go back out to work, like barbers and hairdressers and so, there is a question on the back of everybody's minds in terms of vaccination. Now, the ILO, which is the International Labour Organization, has expressed the concern of inequity in vaccination, where there are so many countries and regions in the world where people just cannot access vaccines for their own health and safety, or occupational safety and health, which is what we call it in the workplace. And given that there is COVID and it is a hazard in the workplace, one of the means of combating that is through vaccination, which the ILO has recognized. And as a union, we are also guided by that. And so we have urged, and we take the opportunity to continuously urge our workers to make the choice to be vaccinated, because that is one way to go towards protecting your own health and safety in the workplace. Government can do its part, the employer can do its part in terms of ensuring that there's clean workspace, that the conditions are optimal, but workers also have a part to play in ensuring that their own health and safety is not compromised. And some persons may feel that the union should not. I've heard it expressed, I've seen it expressed in the public, that the union should not speak on this. Well, we must speak on it because it is about occupational safety and health. And so we are encouraging persons. What we would not like to see in Grenada is what we have seen throughout the region, where government literally, takes these draconian steps and measures to force an entire population to be vaccinated through legislation. I do not believe that is the way to go. The PWU do not believe that that's the way to go. The way to go is through consensus. The WHO does not support these sorts of draconian measures. Neither does the ILO. It really supports enabling persons to make a choice to be vaccinated. And so we do not believe it will come to that in Grenada, because, even as we may itemize the issues that we have with government and the faults that we may say the state has, and even at times when we may say, well, look, you have not been doing enough to provide for workers, especially our healthcare workers, in the way that you ought to, there has been exhibited a high level of, let us just try to get persons to make that choice to be vaccinated so that it does not have to go the road where anybody is forced and everybody unilaterally. So we are really appealing to the authorities to leave it that way. The numbers have been growing exponentially in the last couple of weeks, and I believe it will continue to grow in terms of the vaccinated persons among us.
Nurses now.
All healthcare workers, God bless them, God love us. Kishan, all healthcare workers, and I always want to the PW always want to stick the point. We love our nurses. They are invaluable, but the entire spectrum of healthcare workers does not stop with nurses. You have so many persons, your pharmacists, your lab techs, your orderlies, your maids, your cleaners, your doctors, so many people. And our healthcare workers have really stood up in this fight for Grenada. I think all of us, the evidence is very clear to show that we were as a society, as a healthcare system, we were really not prepared to handle the scope of Delta that came to us in terms of the persons falling sick and dying and so. And our nurses were forced into 12-hour shifts without any consultation or discussion, and understanding where they work. It was not a choice where you can say, well, I can stay home or I can choose to work remotely. They have to and had to report for duty, and they've been doing that. And we commend them for that. We've also heard the state, the government commending them for that. And we keep on pressing, saying, it is not enough to give them words. It's not enough to commend them. It is not enough to have a meeting with them where you say, oh, what are your concerns? And, we were not aware of these concerns, because we know for sure that the state is aware of all of the concerns which confronts our healthcare workers, because they are not new. The pandemic has exacerbated these concerns, have really thrown a spotlight in them, to show that we really have to do a lot more for our healthcare workers in terms of how do we cover them for risk because COVID is not the only infectious disease that we deal with. And so the situation where our COVID bays are still at the General Hospital, that is concerning. It is not a model that has shown that has been seen to work. Even when we go back way down in the early parts of the 20th century, when you were dealing with diseases like cholera and tuberculosis and all those other things, governments did not place infectious diseases that were so highly contagious within their main hospital facilities. And so we are still asking, now that things have quietened down a bit, this is a time to sort of relook and put things into place, because we have to understand that as we look at the rest of the world, places like Australia and Singapore and so, Delta is still ramping up. It is proving to be a strain of the virus that is very difficult to contain. And so our nurses are still saying, we are working 12 to 12 shifts and we are not being given any meals, not even lunch. One staff called us on Sunday, I think it was, to say that they got some lunch at 3 p.m. in the day. Now, if someone left their home at 5 or 6 to report for duty at 7 a.m., how do you offer them a meal at 3 p.m. in the afternoon? Some person may argue, well, why don't they bring their own lunches? But look at the time periods that we are talking about. When they finish a shift at 7 p.m. in the night, some of them get home 9, 10 at night. They tell you when I get home, this is when I have to sit outside in my veranda for an hour. Sometimes I'm there, I fall asleep on myself, because they change outside before going into their homes. And so we are still asking for those humane little things to be put in place for our nurses. And the PW should not have to be coming out in the public, begging and pleading and belling a cat all the time to say, put these little measures in place to protect our healthcare workers, to show some humanity and to show some care for them. Those are things that the employer should want to do. When a 12-hour shift was instituted, it should have been also thought, where are they going to rest during the day? Where are they going to take a half-an-hour break to stretch out their back and to get off their feet so that they can work those 12 hours? And nobody has thought about those things. Nobody has thought about a meal allowance. Nobody, up to date, we still do not have any further protections or risk for persons who have worked with COVID patients. Fortunately, none of our healthcare persons have died. And I just want to say kudos to our nurses, because it speaks to the fact that they are trained persons who are using their PPEs correctly. And so that has served them well. But we still also see the cases where there are untrained persons being forced into the system at this time. And our nurses, even trying to fight and deal with these longer shifts and with COVID, still have to be training people on the job as they go. And so we are saying this is a time now that things have eased off a bit to sort of reset a little bit and put some things in place that would ease the frustration of our nurses, that would ensure that they can continue doing these longer hour shifts for the next couple months, because we do not know, even now as we begin to feel that there is some relief from Delta, the fact that our society has opened back a bit more, and some persons say prematurely, it means that if we let our guards down, we could be looking at an upsurge again not too long from now.
Okay. One of the questions I have in terms of an update question, do you think there seems to be a lack of dialogue between these public servants, their employers, in terms of information sharing, how you can go about, in the lack of, how you can go about protecting yourselves? And I know you mentioned about having dialogue with the government before in terms of the concerns and some of the systems that you think could be put in place, whether it's temporarily or otherwise. What are some of the issues in terms of dialoguing, information sharing? Do you think that there is enough information sharing so that persons have a clearer understanding of the situation and how to deal with it? And in terms of a PW standpoint, any sort of information sharing in the absence of the employers towards the workers itself?
Right. Very, very good and insightful question, but Kishan. So, many people think that if you throw information at someone, you have educated them or you have informed them. Throwing information at someone or putting information out there is not targeting someone. And so, there's documents and so that will be sent around, from the level of CABSEC to a PS, and it will be emailed to members. For one, is every member accessing that through email? Two, Does every member understand totally what is required or what is being discussed or explained in that memo? And we've had cases where you've had memos, for instance, memos in terms of rotational work, memos in terms of what to do when a member comes down sick with COVID, what is the response within that particular division or workplace? And for many weeks, it was evident that not everybody totally understood what should be done, how it should be done. So there is definitely an issue with information sharing, because information sharing cannot just be sending around a memo by email. We see some ministries where there's meetings with staff fairly often, perhaps every week, every 2 weeks, and issues are discussed, but that is not a standard or a general practice. It may come back to maybe where you have a PS or someone or a supervisor or manager who is versed in human resource or feels a human need to do that. But in general, it's about just sending an email around. And so we are urging, managers at that level to do better in terms of ensuring that all your staff gets the information that they have to, that they understand it in a sort of more homogeneous way, so that there is, the sort of what is happening? And so can you tell me what this means? That would sort of be eliminated. At the level of the union, we have been meeting. There is no week that has gone by in the last month and a half, 2 months, where we have not met with a group of workers. We sometimes have informal meetings, or we'd write off to have formal meetings. We've been meeting with our healthcare staff. Last week, we had a meeting with our shop stewards, because within the workplace, the shop steward is really the first line of approach for any member who has a concern or has a grievance on the workplace or an issue that has to be dealt with. And so we've been taking that initiative to ensure that we're meeting with various levels of staff, reaching out to them, sharing information with them, and all of that. And so that has proven to be effective in terms of staying in touch with our members, encouraging them to play their own part in their health and safety, and to bring issues forward to the union. The concern that our union has is also the concern addressed by the bus drivers. I think last week in the news, we saw the bus drivers saying, I heard the Prime Minister announce measures which would ease bus drivers, but here I am, I'm still paying taxes and duties and so to use the terminal, which Prime Minister announced to the nation, we are not doing. It is the same thing within that the PWU is experiencing, that we see the administration coming out and making these bold pronouncements about collaboration and participation and dialoguing with partners. And truly, it is not happening in the way that it ought to. And it is sort of amazing trying to find out, what is our government thinking? What are the decision makers thinking? Because if you sit in a vacuum and you make these decisions on your own within a small group, certainly when you announce them or when you put measures in place, it would be inadequate. Or you would find that there's so many groups within the population which it should affect positively that it does not affect at all. Because you are not consulting, you are not collaborating. And we are again calling on government. It is an unprecedented time. We are facing a pandemic in our country and this world. And government, why won't you really, truly, effectively collaborate with your partners? And we saw, of course, last week that there was a bit of budget consultation that happened through the Ministry of Finance. Kudos to them. But there should be more of that, especially as it relates to COVID, the PWU and government, because the workers who are directly out there in the front lines of COVID are all represented by the PWU.
Okay. I have this question as well. While we talk about the government and so on, and the COVID-19 has been probably very new, of course, the PWU as well. Some of the systems that you could have put in place before, you probably can't do it now. And a lot of people probably used to the PWU being negotiators, salary increases, and now you're now discussing concerns as it relates to COVID-19. The impact on the PWU and its ability to probably do more for its members. How have that been impacted?
It is kind of unfortunate that, most people may tend to see a union as, well, you just negotiate. Salary negotiations is the smallest percentage of what we do. We fought for 4% for 7 long months. And there were persons when they finally got $48 on their salary. I do not publicly want to say what I got on my salary. When I saw it, I just choked. because there was nothing else to do. There's no meaningful impact it could have on my life. But we had to fight for it, because even $1 more is $1 more than you had before. But that is the smallest bit of what we do. And so the role of a union is not necessarily to be out there in the street fighting and protesting. That's not the role of a union. We do that when we have to, but our role is really advocacy and working collaboratively with government, with the employer, where there are issues that would make the workspace more comfortable or safe and would allow workers to be more productive. That is our role. And so it never really has to be an antagonistic role. That is not the role of the PWU. That also should not be the role of the government, where you constantly fight with your unions and never really seem to want to collaborate with them, because it would be in the interest of the entire country if government and unions can work more collaboratively together, because the goal, the end game is the same, to make workers more productive so that our country can also be more productive. And so in a nutshell, Keishan, that's why. So we are advocating, we are pushing. It is very hard to get results. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of effort. And you have to push from so many sides. You may want to one outcome, but you have 10 letters to 10 different persons. And you have to talk on the side, and you have to see somebody somewhere and say, we are trying to get this done. Can you talk to a minister? Can you talk to a supervisor? So it's always about pushing. And even when we get incremental steps, it is a victory, because the business of trade unionism is not an easy one. There's no easy reward in this vineyard.
We quickly ran out of time. I've been speaking with you for a whole half an hour, but it's always a pleasure having you with us, of course, sharing the information. And we want to wish you all the best. Continue to keep safe and continue to do what you do.
Thank you, Keisha. You've been a wonderful whole half an hour. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
All right. Okay, so that was the Public Relations Officer of the Public Workers Union, Daisy Hazard, bringing us up to speed with what's happening on their side of things in terms of our public servants, including our nurses and doctors and so on and so forth. You know, COVID-19 is real, and it has, you know, really threw certain things into a different direction. Nonetheless, before we go, we just want to share this information with you. The Ministry of Infrastructure, Development, Public Utilities, Transport and Implementation is continuing its efforts to provide further support to the public transport sector. The ministry has initiated a program of support through businesses to offer relief to bus operators to purchase tires, batteries, automotive parts and lubricants. To date, 4 auto part dealers have pledged their support, and these are the dealers. And the Discount Auto Parts is offering 15% off on all parts for buses effective October 1st until further notice. Jonas Brown and Hubbard's Grenada Limited is providing 12.5% discount on tires, Power Max batteries from October 1st to November 15th, 2021, and Quality Services Limited for the period October 1st to December 31st, 2001 is offering a discount of 15 to 20% on auto parts, batteries, windscreens, front, rear and side glasses. And George F. Huggins and Company Limited will also make available discounts and best prices on all Nissan Yuvan differential parts and up to 20% on all other Yuvan parts. In addition, the company is offering all bus operators, regardless of vehicle brand or volume, discount on tire purchases up to 12% for a full set. Yep, so these are the list of discounts and best prices that you can get from these companies. Just to give you the company's name again, is the Discount Auto Parts, Jonas Brown and Hubbard's Limited, and Quality Service, and George F. Huggins and Company Limited. All right, so in case you want to get your vehicle parts sorted, you can do so. Before we close off, just to remind you that you can, right after the program, you will look at the Perspective Prime Time, which was aired last night. A number of interviews took place with pertinent information, of course. So before we wrap and say goodbye, just to give you your lotto draw numbers for yesterday, Wednesday, the 6th of October. The winning numbers for the Playway midday draw was 6, the symbol was Death, and the winning Playway number evening draw was 18, the symbol Love Making. The winning numbers for the Daily Pick 3 midday draw was 856, that was 856, and the Daily Pick 3 number evening draw was 779, 779. The winning numbers for Daily Cash 4 midday draw was 0678, 0678, and the evening Daily Cash 4 draw winning numbers was 0685, 0685. The lotto results for Wednesday, 6 October 2001 are as follows: 07, 11, 13, 24, and 27. So that was 7, 11, 13, 24, and 27. The free ticket letter was G as in goal. There was 57 match 3 players winning $10 and 0 match 4 winner paying $0. The current estimated lotto jackpot is now $68,000. Remember, you could tune in at 1:30 today for the next broadcast of the lotto draw, and again at 8:30 tonight. That was all the time we have for you for today, the 7th day of October. On behalf of all our team here at MTV, we want to say a very special thank you for joining, and we'll see you again next time.
Rise and shine.